Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 9th EBERSPÄCHER FIL Luge World Cup, the World Cup Finals. My name's Mark Hatton, and we have just had an incredible first run. Natalie Mag on screen now, sliding into third place. Merle Frebel of Germany sliding into second. But the drama is that Julia Taubitz of Germany has gone from being an outside shot for the overall title to being on the cusp of her 5th overall World Cup title. My name's Mark Hatton. I'm joined by Alex Falazzo here of Team Australia, 3-time Olympian and an Olympian here in Beijing. What are your takeaways from that first run?
It was a free-for-all. It was some very exciting sliding, some awesome sections, some spectacular blow-ups, and everything in between. We're sitting down for quite a exciting second run coming up right now. There's quite a margin. Like Taubitz put her out and herself in front by quite a bit, and then there's a section of about 1, 2, 3, 4 athletes that are all within that 3 to 2 tenths. Oop. Ice is at -6.
Air at -6 and ice at -8. So hard, cold ice. And one of the surprises, Karina Buzatoi's start record holding. That's wonderful for Romania holding a start record, and I hope for her it will hold for the second run. So the track crew have done their spritz. We are in the most beautiful part of the world. We're at this incredible track with a roof along the whole way that you can walk along. What else? Quite
a spectacular view from the top of that track, and this is the beautiful Chinese dragon. Really start from quite a spectacular view and wind your way down the track through this tricky upper section, really building up speed. We're going through the chicane there and into the spiral, getting shot into the dragon's tail, where we've seen a lot of athletes really mess up the bottom of that track. It's quite exciting racing down there.
I bet. I mean, the Dragon's Tail's been incredible. I've been really impressed with how they handled it, though. But here we go. This is what it looks like from the athlete's point of view.
Yeah, super critical part right there, and just trying to keep it smooth and ride these pressures the best you can through this top section. It's really just playing with the pressures through. Where is that? That's 4. This is 5 into 5, riding those pressures just right. Oh, bumped on early to 6 there. Riding through the dip, over, through the chicane. This is a nice sweeper. A lot of pressure built up on the end of that curve 9 there. Really got to get nice and early into the spiral here, and then you're on the wall for a good 7 seconds. Time to think about the mistake just made before and what you're about to do down the bottom of this track. Getting spat into right down into the bottom of the track here, 312, and to the tricky dragon's tail through the bottom section here. Over the dip, the sled feels so light through that section right there, trying to keep it off the wall, push back, reach for the finish line.
Wow. I mean, it's, for a World Cup Finals track, it's perfect because it provides so much drama. For example, we're seeing Julia Taubitz put herself in a really good position. And if this was a track like Eagles, Innsbruck, you would expect her to then do more of the same. But here, it's so difficult to be consistent.
Yeah, it's still very much anyone's game. We've seen some spectacular sliders have spectacular mistakes that run, and I mean, Julia was one of a handful of athletes that put down some really clean runs. So it's very much anyone's game heading into the second round.
It really is anyone's game, ladies and gentlemen, and you have a front row seat for the World Cup final, and that image on the screen, that is what these athletes are fighting for. One huge highlight for me watching that is the Chinese fans and the fact that 3 Chinese athletes have made it through to the second run. That's just testament to how well the organizing committee, when they put on the games, they thought about legacy, not just the legacy of these beautiful facilities, but also a human legacy in building athletes that in time can really compete.
Yeah, they train so hard. I know how much time they spend here and how dedicated they are to the sport. It's fantastic to see them, not only in the World Cup race, but having a second run.
Yeah. And the ice is so hard right now. We were saying it's -8.8, I believe, and fresh spritz. So this could very possibly be the fastest that Lang Ziting Zhao has ever been on her home track. And dropping into the track, that is exactly who is opening the scoring for us. Langziting Zhao of China.
Oh, kept it as straight as she could through that section, but little breakout there.
Just has to put that behind her. You can see that she's struggling to keep grip. She just needs to relax those shoulders, get in the sled, not on the sled, and really let this sled run down this beautiful track that she calls the rock on.
Goes to show how tricky this track is. Even these homegrown athletes are struggling with that upper section. It's so technical up there. It's very difficult.
Yeah, and it punishes you before this Kreisel, doesn't it? Really, any small mistake is just multiplied as you're lying back for 7 seconds, 370 degrees of ice, waiting for the next curve. But this is where it all comes down to. This is the entrance to the Dragon's Tail, and Zhao managing it superbly. Little skid, but nothing to write home about as she drives across the finish line into first place. Our first athlete down, 204.118. Zhao, proud of herself, showing what she does best to her home crowd on her home track.
Yeah, she made that bottom part look easy. It was
yeah,
like it's a home track. I think she showed a little bit of frustration for that top section there, but overall she can be proud with her performance here tonight.
There she is, Langziting Zhao, local from the area. All of these athletes taken from other sports, a talent identification, just absolutely first class from the Chinese organizers, as we have an uncharacteristically placed Melina Fischer in 19th position, just qualifying for a second run after a really tough first run, Alex.
She was on a heater too before those mistakes, so keep a close eye on these lines and see if she can put one together.
It would be great to just see what she can do, because like you were saying, her top section was one of the best we've seen.
Start record.
And the start record's gone. We have a new start record. Melina Fischer now holding the start record, taking that start record away from Corina Buzatoy, who got it just earlier this morning, and Fischer into the lead by over a second.
Yeah, now it's all about just keeping the momentum, headed down the hill, smooth as possible, laying back. Oh, she gets away with keeping it off that left wall this time, so I think we're in for a bit of a heater run right here.
Yeah, that green clock is getting larger and larger as the time gets further and further apart. As she gains, she multiplies time, and she gets faster and faster. She's now 2.3 seconds to the good. This is an incredible run. Just a little tap through the Dragon's Tail, but handles it perfectly. As she comes round finish curve, little tap on the exit, into first place by 2.8 seconds. That's probably what she should have done on the first run, and we would have possibly have a very different top 3 or top 5. Melina Fischer just showing how good she is on that second run.
Yeah, that was impressive. It's crazy when a bit of pressure's taken off here and you can relax into the sliding a bit more, and she showed it right there of what she's made of, and I'm sure she's looking forward to coming back here already.
Look at that position on the sled as well, really stretching out through the Kreisel. A sigh of relief from Melina Fischer as our coaches congratulate her, and for a last race run of the season, she can give herself a well-earned pat on the back. As we move to our second Chinese athlete to get through to this second run, and this is Peijun Wang. Peijun Wang having a great first run. She was really impressive.
She was. See how she can handle this top section. Beautiful paddles. Nice flop into the sled there.
Oh, skidding round 2 though, and that's going to cost her. Manages to get the sled under control.
Massive power skid through 2 there. That's a killer for time, but thankfully kept it off the walls as best she could.
This 1:19 split is going to be critical. She's dropped back from being 3/10 ahead to 700ths back. So now she's got to try and find something through the bottom section. If anyone's going to do it, these Chinese athletes are, because they know this track.
Beautiful lines.
And into the Kreisel we go, stretching out, leaving it all on the track, trying to squeeze as much speed out of that section of the track that's designed to slow the athletes down into the fast bottom section of the track. Let's see 13. And the Dragon's Tail just beautifully driven by Wang. Wang may squeeze into the lead, but she's got left herself too much to do as Fisher keeps on the top spot. Wang dropping back by 9/10 of a second. But a beautiful one from Beijing Wang.
Yeah, from the rest of the track down after that mistake, that was absolutely gorgeous. It was a beautiful run.
Just such a shame that problem on the start she had. And it's probably something she's never done. Probably hasn't done it all week.
Yeah.
And just got that nasty skid on the start, and that really cost Beijing Wang.
Yeah,
but
it's such a fine line for error in that top section. I mean, the whole track, to be honest, but with such a quick transition from paddling to laying down and then getting in the curves and trying to drive clean lines through there, it's tricky.
You've got to get in your sled incredibly quickly, haven't you? I mean, you're straight into a curve. So, Yuliana Tunitska of Ukraine, powering down the start. Another nice, smooth settle into the sled from Tunitska, just as she did in run number 1. And Ukraine looking so good on the start these days.
Yeah, there was some powerful looking paddles right there. Kept the sled so low through the first few corners. It was impressive. I think she's got a lot of control over that thing right now.
Just having to find that sweet spot of controlling the sled too much and letting the sled run. But honestly, Tunitska, we know that Tunitska is a class act. You know, when you win the Junior World Championships, you know that you've set out the groundwork to be an incredible slider as you move through the sport. And she's made this transition into the senior ranks look like she's just born to do it.
Beautiful lines to the whole track so far. Oh, a little
bumping
bump
onto 13. Keep your cool now, Tunitska. Manages to thread it through the Dragon's Tail. She may have cost her too much, though, and Fisher may climb up one more, and it does. Tunitska doing so well there, but just bumping onto 13, and that dropped her back by 4/10 of a second into second place. Melina Fischer of Germany is still our leader.
She's got such
concentration on the start, hey, from these athletes, but that's the one, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't do that. That's a killer for time. I'm sure she was just like, oh no, going through 13. But sometimes it can. I mean, it's not too bad. You know, you can definitely do a lot worse there. If you're skidding into that curve, it's a different story, but it's not ideal.
Definitely not ideal, but Yuliana Tunitska, again, some real highlights in that second run for Ukraine. So Nina Zergler of Italy now. Now, decent cushion, almost 6/10 of a second to the good for Zergler. So she needs to put down a solid run here to maintain that place. Keeping it off that right wall, Zergler manages to as she goes into curve.
Kept it tidy, good to see. Just rode that end of the profile on the end of 3 there.
Just hanging on a little bit there, which makes her bump on early. But again, keeping her cool, keeping her position, and the sled staying solid on the ice. Again, the trouble with these cold ice conditions and this dry weather is a little mistake can become a big mistake very quickly. But it doesn't seem to have affected Nina Zergler at this 1:49 split. Is she going to stay in the green? She needs the clock to stay green if she's got a chance to move ahead of Fisher. She's just dropped back by 12 thousandths of a second, but the Dragon's Tail is fantastic. She's driven it perfectly. It's all going to be down to the finish curve. Can she carry the speed? Is it going to be enough? It's not. She drops back into second place behind Melina Fischer. Ooh, Zergler back by 1.5 tenths, but a solid run there from Nina Zergler.
Yeah, that was a beautiful run. Just that little mistake off 3, but the rest of the run was absolutely gorgeous. Like, I don't think we've seen a sled go through the Dragon's Tail that cleanly just yet. Look at that. Laid all the way back, stretched out, absorbing all the bumps. Really trying to race that sled down the hill rather than be a passenger. So.
And you made a really good point there, Alex, is absorbing all the bumps. If you haven't seen luge before, guys, a luge sled doesn't have any suspension. So where you have springs on a car, we don't have any of that. So luge racers need to make sure their bodies are the suspension of the sled. And that's why it's so important to stay relaxed. Which when you're going 130 kilometers an hour is not that easy, as Tove Kahala of Sweden drops into the track. Tove with a beautiful 2-3 transition to open her account for the second run.
Yeah, and here's an athlete that's really been working on her position and absorbing those bumps from the start of the season. I've seen a huge change in her sliding, and I think her results have shown that too. Oh, a little high on 9. You can see her back end really just fell out a bit there, but wasn't too bad. Holding it together through the chicane.
Still in the green by almost half a second, Tove Kahala, but she's now got to be absolutely faultless as she gets into this huge Kreisel.
Yeah, she's still got quite a deficit there, so what, 4.5 tenths before Kreisel. Let's see what it's at. Yes, 4:13.
After the Kreisel, she's lost time. She's only got a quarter of a second to play with. Tove Kahala's got to be faultless through the Dragon's Tail, and now this tricky uphill finish curve. Crossing the finish line, still in the green, 0.07 of a second. Tove Kahala is your new leader, knocking Melina Fischer of Germany off the top spot.
Yeah, shaking her hands like that was hot. That was a great run. A little dicey down the bottom, but she's showing speed. She really left it down to the wire though, down the bottom there.
See that skid there? Was that into 13?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just missed that. There
but
she saved it so well. Like, I'm not sure what I would do after that mistake there, and to take it out as cleanly as she did. Very impressive. Well done.
Yeah, and this is where we talk about keeping it cool and how these athletes separate themselves from one another. The ones that can keep their cool when things go wrong and just keep the position, stay back, stay long on the sled. Just they seem to ride out those mistakes.
Yeah.
Like you tell kids, you know.
Sliding's really about getting the sled back on track more than trying to drive the perfect lines the whole time. That's something I've learned later in my career, and it's helped me out wonders.
I can believe that. It's about just adapting, isn't it? As Huilan Hu of China, our third Chinese athlete of the day, goes straight into the green. She's got 0.05 of a second to play with, so Huilan Hu has got to be very, very slick, very, very smooth, and incredibly precise, as she's only got 0.001 of a second in the green, so it's going to go into the red. Just hanging on there, keeping it off that right wall, but managing to do so.
She's bleeding a lot of time there. There must have been something up top that we just didn't see. But Kahala was so smooth through that top section, and she made a little mistake out of 13. So this might come down to quite the wire at the end here.
I feel like that high line in 6 can, when you slam down so hard, I feel that can take a lot of time from these athletes. It doesn't look too much, but just taking the Dragon's Tail again. No. She's off. She's going to try and stay on the sled. How she managed to stay on that sled, I have no idea. But Huilan Hu into 6th place, dropping back by 1.1 second. Tove Kahala still our leader from Sweden, but Huilan Hu, that was tough because she put down some beautiful lines through the top.
Yeah, you could see she come out of 13 here, so confident. Just tagged that left wall. That's just not fair.
Alex Palazzo, does the punishment fit the crime?
No,
there?
not one bit. Look at that. Still not under control. And
on a different day, that would have just been a little bit of a touch on her speed suit and maybe a little furring of the fabric.
Yep.
Instead, the whole thing went out of control.
Yeah, I mean that's what the sport's all about, you know. It's time to 1,000th of a second for a reason. If you can't make little mistakes like that either, you know.
Yeah, and this is why China has built such a fantastic and dramatic track here in YANQING, as our previous start record holder until just a few sleds ago, Karina Buzatoy of Romania, gets into the track with a 1/4 of a second cushion over Kahala.
She beat her old start record, so that's great.
She's on fire.
Yeah, to one-up her start record from before the race.
Buzatoy stretching out, just getting caught up in the exit there a little bit, but keeps her cool, deals with it beautifully. They're up over that big ridge. That's where you've got to be so quiet on the sled as you get a little bit of negative G, and the sled just goes very light. But she's building time, losing a tiny bit, but nothing to spit too much to speak of. Still in the green by 1/4%.
Yeah, this is going to be tight down the bottom here. If she can keep it really clean, she might have a chance with. I know Tove had a little mistake into 13 there, so she's still got 2/10 in the bag. Keeping it clean through the bottom.
Hold it together. So close. She's got to get across the line. She does. Into first place goes Karina Buzatoy ahead of Kahala, and really taking it down to the wire there with a big hit out of finish curve, but ahead by 2/10 of a second. I would love to see.
That's a big result for her, I think.
Yeah.
That was impressive racing. She's got to be so proud of herself.
So she's holding 13th place, and with a bit of good fortune her way, she could move up a couple more. It's a decent cushion she's got. A couple of tenths.
Yeah. See how much it means to her. Well done.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic race for Romania. It really has. As we go back to the top of the track, or well, to the latest start, to Italy, Sandra Robacher, currently sitting in 12th position, qualified from the Nations Cup, and only got 18 thousandths of a second to play with here.
Tidy looking paddles, great settle. She had no problem getting her hands in. No cutting ice through 1-2. That was well done.
But she's lost 700ths, and
I don't know. It must be how you trip the eye with your foot or something, but
still losing
still
time,
bleeding a bit of time. Oh, big mistake in 5 there. Super high in 6. Can she get this back under control?
Taking so long to get these mistakes under control with this very hard, very dry ice. Oh, Robacher really having a tough time of it through the top section. Okay, it's the last race run of the season, Sandra Robacher. So just show the world how good you are through this bottom section of the track.
Lining up into 13. Trying to get that height at the right point. You can see a hold up there. Yeah, just tapped that wall that time, but she got the lucky side of it.
And also that little counterweight with the right leg as well on the exit. Really showing initiative and really solid sliding from Robacher through the bottom section of the track, but just you can't come back from mistakes like that in the top.
No. Oh, it's such a rough exit. And from 5-6 there, that's a time killer. Because there's another uphill section after 6, and then another one before the spiral. This track is not forgiving for mistakes up top.
No, it seems that when she made the mistake, you saw in the slow-mo, that the sled was stuck nicely to the wall, and then the pressure just disappears. And it goes to normal. And the sled just drops out, smacks out onto the flats, and loses control. As Anna Beretta, one of our sickly patients of the week, it's just a huge triumph for her to even be on the start. She's been so unwell this week. So Anna Beretta, Olympic silver medalist here 3 years ago, trying to leave here with something, and she does. She's leaving here with a start record, unless any of the field have something to say about that. But Anna Beretta ahead by 400ths of a second.
She just blew that start record out of the water, so if she can carry this momentum down. I heard a little skid off 5 there. There's still a lot of track to go, though. Yep, still building speed.
You see how the speed is multiplying down the track as she gets more and more faultless. She's just got to be mistake-free through this bottom section, and we should see a big lead overall.
Shot down into 12. Holding it steady through that super flat corner. Nice entrance into 13.
Just hits the left wall, keeps it under control. Damage limitation from Anna Beretta. Looking good through the finish, though. She moves into first by half a second ahead of Karina Buzatoy, who also be incredibly proud of her performance. And Anna Beretta, with the exception of that Dragon's Tail hit, having a very, very solid run, Alex.
Some fantastic sections through there.
See, she hardly touched that left wall, and it just throws the sled out of control. Now, do you think that's because of that chicane, the right runner is slightly higher than the left, so that the sled is not square on the ice?
Yeah, you're definitely getting the track is pushing you down close to that left wall, but also the track falls away. So when you go over that hump, you lose all the weight, and then you have no control. If you touch it just before you go over the bump, boop, lose control.
Yeah, absolutely. So Verena Hoffer of Italy, we're into the top 10. Verena Hoffer, this is a great result for her as well. Currently sitting in 10th place, wants to get into single figures, though, I'm sure.
Great settling.
Just hanging on the exit of 1, though, but looking good from 2 to 3.
Yeah, she handled it well through that section. Looks like she had a little bit of trouble setting up in the right spot into curve 1, but she's settled in now. 200's back, heading into curve 5.
Almost made the same mistake as her teammate Robacher, just getting caught up in the exit there, but gets away with it. Now, if it's your first time watching luge, watch Hoffer's feet. She's one of those athletes that turns her feet when she steers. So if you haven't seen luge before, you get a real idea of how these athletes are steering the sled and which kufen, which is the horn at the front of the sled, they're pressing to steer the sled.
Few pretty big mistakes before Kreisel there, but she's had time to think about it and regather herself before this section.
Beautiful Dragon's Tail from Verena Hoffer, but I think the time has been lost up the top. Another great exit as well. Into second place, though, for Italy's Verena Hoffer, but Anna Beretta with a massive 0.4 of a second lead.
Yeah, it's quite the lead this early on. Got a few big names coming up next, so
yeah, I think you look at Beretta's time there. You think what might have been if she hadn't made that mistake down out of the Dragon's Tail, because I mean that's a huge lead that's opened up, and she could find herself on the elevator in the winner's circle for a little while yet with that result.
Yeah, she knows it too. She knows how much time she left out there.
So Madeleine Egler having an incredibly tough day, but she's had a tough week. In her defense, the World Cup leader has been incredibly sick with a flu-type symptoms. Her arm just out of the sled there on the set lap.
Yeah, she was trying to squeeze her hand in past her thigh and had a bit of trouble there, but got it sorted. Pretty clean through those top few corners there.
So Madeleine Egler possibly out of contention now, almost certainly out of contention for the overall World Cup, but still fighting. One run left of the season, one race run. Let's make it a good one. Madeleine Egler, who's had such a great season.
Yeah, she's been a staple all year and just kept, getting better every race and really showing her strength from the start as well. She's had a little bit of issues up the top there, and now she's in Kreisel.
And that time is multiplying. She was up by 1/10 of a second here. Let's see where we're at the 48 split. Up by 1.5 tenths. Okay, Madeleine, this is where it's going to matter down the Dragon's Tail, and she does it perfectly.
Yeah, she nailed that bottom section. This is going to be quite the lead. 28.
Madeleine Egler into the lead, into first place, ahead of Anna Beretta. Wow, almost 0.3 of a second. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, that shows you how much Anna Beretta lost with those mistakes as well, right? I mean, Madeleine was so clean through that bottom section there. And Anna gets to see what could have been.
And this gets interesting now because it's pretty much a battle between Madeleine and Lisa Schulte as well for these spots in the overall World Cup. Right now, Julia Talbot is in the driving seat. But anything can happen, as we've seen on this track. So last week's winner in Pyeongchang, this is Lisa Schulte. Lisa Schulte just hitting such a great patch of form right now, really in the form of her life. And what a great time to do it the year before the Olympic Games.
Yeah, she's been so steady all year long. Nothing seems to phase her. She's just going stride after stride, taking each week as it comes. That's how you do it. That is how you do it. That was a beautiful 1, 2, 3. Let's see if she can keep this momentum up all the way down. I know after that first run, she's left a lot of time out there, so she'll be hungry right now to see where she can land herself.
Yeah, she's got to put that first run to the back of her mind, keep on building speed, and she is. Let's see where we're at, though, at this 1:28 split. She's up by 0.3 of a second.
Beautiful later line into 10 there, setting up nice and early for Kreisel.
Little mistake before Kreisel there, but managed to fix it. That could cost Lisa Schulter. She's going to have to stay in the green. 148 split coming up.
Heading nice and early into 13. Can she keep it level around there? Oh!
Skidding down the Dragon's Tail, 0.4 of a second in the green. Has she done enough?
Wow.
Into first place, Lisa Schulter ahead of Madeline Egler by almost 0.4 of a second with a huge power slide down the Dragon's Tail.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Look at this. She come over the hump there, sled lost weight, and then she went sideways. Not sure she was cutting much ice there, to be honest.
Yeah, it was kind of light above the ice, wasn't it?
Oh, that was sweet. That was that was really well done.
Kept the composure.
Yeah.
You know, we keep going back to these athletes keeping their cool when things go wrong, and I don't think there's a better track on the tour to showcase that than this.
Yeah, spot on.
You know, there's a lot of damage limitation that's needed with an almost perfect run here. So Hannah Prock sitting in 7th place. Bronze medal in World Cup last week in Pyeongchang. Gold medal in Nations Cup this morning here in YANQING, and trying to break back into that podium group from 7th place now, Hannah Prock.
Yeah, she got a taste of it last week, and that's where she belongs. She's such a talented slider, and injury is such a terrible part of all athletes' lives, I think, if you're cursed enough to get one. But right now she's sliding well through that top section. Lost a bit of time there somewhere.
Maybe make some up with that good transition back there, though. There's so many of the athletes have been hanging on that curve. Prock losing time here. She's back by 1.5 tenths into the Kreisel.
She seems to be slowing the bleeding a little bit to Lisa right now. She can keep it really clean down the bottom. This gap could get pretty small.
12-13 looking good. Beautiful entrance to 13, but now we've got to see if we can carry that speed to... Big skid, you can hear that on TV back home. Crossing the finish line into 2nd place. Hannah Prock of Austria. Lisa Schulter taking a ride on the elevator 1 place higher as Hannah Prock goes into 2nd, back by 1/4 of a second.
Yeah, she had a pretty similar line to Lisa there, but broke out the other way, unfortunately.
Now, I don't think she actually touched the left wall there. I think she was probably from her correction.
Yeah, yep, very much.
The sled just lost traction.
Not overly thrilled with that run, but
what an incredibly short season for Hannah Prock. 2 races, but I mean, she's come back such a impressive athlete.
Yeah, it's got to give her a ton of confidence heading into next season.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes a little bit of time off doesn't do these athletes harm. They watch a few sleds, watch a few more sessions, maybe coach some kids, whatever she was doing while she was injured. She obviously wasn't just, lying in bed healing. She was at home, working, ready for this great comeback that she's had. As a young Austrian, Barbara Allmeyer, who can be incredibly happy to be in 6th place right now.
It's their 4th Austrian in a row here, so I'm sure they're all learning off each other and really cheering each other on down the bottom. This has got to be fun for them.
A bit ragged up the top there for Barbara Allmeyer, but nothing big.
Oh, come out on that left side through the chicanes.
Still losing time, almost 2 tenths back as she goes through into the Kreisel.
Yeah, Lisa was fast. She was really fast at the top there.
Yeah, and stayed in the green the whole way down, didn't she? It was really smooth. I think the difference that I'm seeing is those smooth transitions that we saw from Lisa. Getting are out really nicely down the Dragon's Tail, 120 kilometers an hour. Just taps before the finish line, left and right. The second one didn't matter. It was after the finish line. Barbara Allmeyer into 2nd place, back by 1/4 of a second.
She had to show those older girls how to do it down in the Dragon's Tail, I think. Watch this, ladies. This is how you do this.
It's not all about experience. That was beautiful to see. See that height she built at the exit?
Yeah.
You know, whether she meant to do that, because she's had a pretty smooth line through there, the ones I've seen all week, but it worked out just beautifully for her. And she looks pretty happy with it. That's Barbara Allmeyer of Austria. So we're into our final 5. Another one that was struck down by this horrible bug that was going through the athletes' village all week. And she's fought back from it. Ashley Farquharson of the United States of America.
Let's go, Ashley. She left so much time out there the first run, so I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, this could be lightning.
Nice and smooth. Didn't look so quick, but it's smooth as fast, and fast as smooth.
Yeah, just tapping the right foot, but 0.2 of a second ahead. Just got to keep it smooth like she did on the first run. And then just fix that entrance 13, and we could be looking at Ashley Farquharson staying in that leader box for quite some time, but I'm not going to speak too soon here.
This is cleaner already through that top section. Look at her building time.
1/4 of a second
all
to the good
down
there. Ashley Farquharson.
This is better
going
too.
Now.
Nice into the Kreisel.
Beautiful flat line round Kreisel, exactly as it should be gone. Just getting picked up on the exit, but just drops out perfectly down the middle. This is where her mistake was last run. She does the same mistake on the second run. Hopefully she can salvage something from this, but the Dragon's Tail looks like it's going to be very, very difficult for her to pull this back. Crossing the finish line, she does, holds on to her place. Ashley Farquharson carrying so much speed there, probably not expecting to see a first place on the scoreboard as she comes up.
No, that's so frustrating as an athlete to make the mistake again. You know, especially in a race environment, that's frustrating.
You just see how close she is to a breakthrough as well. And she's already arguably had that breakthrough, being a regular visitor to that kind of top 6. But I mean, without those mistakes, which were very fixable, all the nuts and bolts of her being such a fantastic slider are there.
Oh, she's ready for that breakthrough. We can all see it.
And another athlete timing it perfectly going into Olympic next year. So our final 4, Latvia's Kendia Apajoda. This is tight now. There's very little time between Apajoda and Marg in bronze medal position. Just 0.04 of a second between them. So Apajoda needs to put one down here, keep that first place. But first split, she's into the red.
Yeah, I saw it. She steered really hard in the second corner, and it looked like it put her into a bit of a skid. She did well minimizing that damage between 2 and 3, but it's pretty far up the track to be making those mistakes, you know. Beautiful
exit from 6 back there. You just saw her dive into that compression incredibly smoothly, and she's cutting away at the deficit. She's just back by 0.08 of a second now. So she's building speed the whole way down the track. So this is where it needs to be special.
Go, the tricky section keeps it cleaner than Ashley into 13, holding up on the right point. Oh, just sneaks through the Dragon's Tail. That was beautiful.
And she's in the green, crossing the finish line. Is she going to hang on? She does, into first place. Kendia Apajoda of Latvia. By the skin of her teeth, but actually by a decent margin of 0.1 of a second. But that was in the red all the way down, and she somehow put on the afterburners through the bottom section of the track. But also a bit of a mistake through here, as we're seeing on the slow-mo, but managing to keep that sled under control. It was right on the edge.
Yeah, you could see her leaning away from the wall just about. Somehow got away with it. That's.
Whew. Yeah, that's what we were all doing. I think I accidentally threw a paperclip at the monitor in the commentary box when that happened. So that was right on the edge. So into our top 3, Natalie Mara.
Let's go, Natalie.
And wouldn't this be fantastic?
Yeah, she's been working so hard this year, and she's got a lot of people behind her right now. So
here
fingers
goes
crossed
Natalie
for you.
Mark for Switzerland, very close to that right wall. Did she touch it?
If she did, it helped her out more than anything. I think she
turned the nose.
Yeah, turned the nose.
Okay, Mark still ahead of Appiod.
Oh yeah, look at that lead so far, 1800s of a second split. It's looking good so far.
Looking smooth, looking incredibly relaxed on the sled.
Still building speed the way down this track.
You know, we talk about classical sliders like Dominic Fishnail in the men's, and I think Natalie Marg is one of those sliders that is just so beautiful to watch on the sled. Everything on time, and just is a really good luge.
Yeah, she gets better every year as well. It's impressive. And she's gained a bit of speed there as well.
Tapping the dragon's tail, keep it together now. Through the finish curve and crossing the finish line. She should keep on. She does. Natalie Marg guarantees herself, at worst, a bronze medal, and look what it means to her. That is your mixed relay teammate, Alex Filazzo.
I know, I got to step up my game, huh? That was impressive.
Now this was it. Just tapped it. So you think that's what we should be aiming for?
I think that was all planned. I think she meant that.
Wow, look at that position as well, going through there, and really left it to the last minute. You know, anchors down the dragon's tail, but still pushing the form. Well, congratulations, Natalie Marg, a bronze medal guaranteed, as we have 2 athletes left to run. This is Germany's Merle Freibel. Not a big cushion ahead of Natalie Marg, so Freibel's going to have to be faultless, which is going to hold off Marg's challenge. Very smooth through these top goes. I think that's one of the best we've seen.
Yeah. Another start record there as well.
Start record for Merle Freibel. So Anna Bereta's start record is no more. And Merle Freibel is the new queen of the starts here in YANQING, China.
Man, this top section is absolutely gorgeous right now. The secret lady lines are coming out in this last run.
Absolutely, so smooth. Just taking a peek there.
Oh, kept it so close from that left wall into 10. She got away with one right there.
Look on the mini-map on the right-hand side of your screen, and you'll see that Freibel is building speed the whole way down. So the 148 split, this is going to be crucial for Merle Freibel. Oh, she hits before 13. Still in the green, gets a decent dragon's tail, but that's going to be close. Merle Freibel coming across the finish line into second place. Merle Freibel guaranteed a bronze medal, but so close to keeping a silver and making the exact same mistake as Ashley Farquharson going into 13.
Yeah, that's got a few big scalps tonight. That bump before 13 right there. Oh, man. I knew it was going to be close after that. She had a bit of a lead, but it come down to the wire, didn't it? Natalie Marg's got to feel like, pretty incredible right
guarantees Natalie Marg, member of Team Filazzo Mag in the mixed, a silver World Cup medalist. So one athlete left to go, Julia Talbot. Merle Freibel rightly looking angry with herself there. She slid such a beautiful top section. 1, 2, 3 was the best we've seen. And now it's down to Julia Talbot to attempt to win the overall World Championship for the 5th time in her career. Only the 3rd woman to So
this would really top off her season right now. She's struggled these last few days with some injury, so this would really put the icing on the cake if she could put this together.
You're absolutely right. Just coming off so few training runs. But pretty stable with the times there. Just a little skid through the top there. That's going to cost Talbot's a little bit. But she's got a decent cushion. She's still at 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, I love that later line into 10.
Right, yeah.
Still gaining on the way down. This is testimony to her skill and her speed. Everywhere she goes, she's an amazing slider.
Nice line through 12. Just want to keep it clean into 13, and she manages to. It looks like Talbot's is going to do enough. Dragon's Tail has to dab a foot. How much is that going to cost her? Around the finish curve. Is Talbot's going to win? Yes, she does, crossing the finish line into the gold medal placing. Julia Talbot wins the overall unofficially and also wins this EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup final here in YANQING, China.
Fantastic racing. Only a handful of girls put it together, and she did it. Well done, Julia.
Wow.
Well done, Natalie.
Well, if it's your first time watching luge, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's like. This is what it's about. Drama, speed, emotion, and incredible resilience from Julia Talbot. Look at that. I mean, pick the bones out of that, Alex.
What can I say? That was beautiful. That was a perfect line.
Little bit.
She even had the cushion to stick her feet down. I think that didn't need to be done, but with that cleaner top section, I think she was just playing a little safe there, you know. No point risking it all on those last few curves if you know you got 3/10 before the second run.
That's it. I mean, but being so cool under pressure when you're the last to go, and there's not only a World Cup victory hanging on it, but an overall World Cup victory. That is handling pressure, isn't it? Look at that. And that's beautiful sportsmanship to see. We went into this race with Madeleine Egler holding all the cards as World Cup leader. Madeleine Egler struggling back from a horrible sickness this week. And hats off to Madeleine Egler for her sportsmanship and for just making it to the start line.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to most of the circuit, let's be honest. It's been a tough week. I'd say about a third of the circuit has gone down from this bug, and it's been a real struggle for a lot of athletes.
So there we have it. Julia Talbot's gold medal, Natalie Marg silver, Merle Frabel bronze, Kendia Appiard and Ashi Farquharson just missing out on the medals. Lisa Schulte in 6th. Lisa again was making a play for that overall today, just came up short. And 3 Chinese in that second run. That's something awesome. 13th place for Tova, 12th place for Karina. I think, as you said, hats off to the whole circuit on what a season it's been.
Yeah, it's been an incredible race, incredible year, and I'm sure these girls are looking forward to getting home. Some of them are going on holidays, you know, but still got some celebrating to do, I'm sure.
Indeed. It's a long tour, it's a long season, and with the adversity that these athletes have been through this week, it's so great to see such close, such dramatic racing. If you want an advertisement for the sport of luge, tonight was it.
That was fantastic racing. This track offered up once again an exciting sections, exciting racing.
Absolutely, as we
display
see.
Of great sliding.
General Secretary of the FIL, Secretary General of the FIL, Dwight Bell, handing out the trophies, the pandas, I think they are.
Yeah, Chinese panda, that's what you want.
Exactly. Dragon, and the track is called the Dragon as well, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Look at that. Your 3 World Cup podium. Incredible racing from Natalie Marg to get into 2nd place, going home with a silver medal. Merle Frabel just making a mistake on the entrance into 13. There's so many of these elite, fastest in the world female luge racers did today. 13 was tough.
Yeah, it was. It took some scalps and
there
showed
we
no
have
mercy.
It, the World Cup winning Julia Talbot for the 5th time in her career. Incredible racing from Talbot today. Not sure she woke up this morning thinking that would be a given, but Julia Talbot's first. And then Lisa Schulte in 3rd and Madeleine Egler in 2nd overall. Just an incredible World Cup season from the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup. As we see the President of the International Luge Federation, Mr. Ines Vergeles, presenting the globes to the 2 Austrians, silver and bronze. The spoils of victory, though, go to Julia Talbot, her 5th crystal globe of her career. More to come, I'm sure. And Julia Talbot is champion of the World Cup, EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup circuit.
Well deserved, ladies. Beautiful racing all season long. It was beautiful to watch.
and incredibly good sportsmanship there. These athletes, all friends off the track. They know how hard each other work. They know how awesome each of them are at this sport. And these are quite rightly the best racers on ice in the world. The EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup, though, is going to continue in about half an hour with women's doubles. It's ladies' night tonight. The men get a night off, and it's all women's luge today. Incredible racing, incredibly close, and that concludes our women's singles race for the day. But we're going to be back in about half an hour with the women's doubles at 10 o'clock local time. I've been Mark Hatton, and with me has been Alex Filazzo of Team Australia. Alex, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great racing.
No problem. Thank you.
Julia, congratulations, what a run here, and also the overall World Cup winner. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm really happy about it, and my English is really bad, so I tried in German because I have so many words. Hier jetzt, nach Olympia. Sorry. Bedeutet mir sehr viel. Entschuldigung. Danke. Ja.
Hello. This is broadcast test. Broadcast test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello. This is broadcast testing.